Let us look at the decision now that the Nigerian Bar Association has taken, to boycott. This must be something. You think this is something strong? Do you think it will go far enough to send a message to the National Judicial Council?
Yes.
That, what it has done, it's not in conformity with the law, and the NBA is not in agreement with it.
They have done at the level of the Executive Council. So, since the Bar Conference is commencing this week, I expect a resolution taken at the conference condemning the National Judicial. In fact, they should single out those 5 members who took their decision, condemning them. And they should have a strong word of reprimand for the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He has very few days to go.
Quite few.
Very few.
Very few
So
days.
I know that the other member said, why don't you wait till September? Common sense would have told you that you cannot be a judge in your own cause. Yes, he was not there, but that Director of Administration is still answerable to him. All the officers are still staff under him.
Yeah, because he's the chairman of the National
Judicial
Council. So you don't expect
him. In any case, even membership of that National Judicial Council, most of them are his appointees.
And that is quite true. That is quite true.
So they were the ones who were saying, let us wait in September. By then, Kassinal would have retired. And whoever is stepping in will have a free hand to look at it dispassionately.
So I mean, if most of these members of the National Judicial Council are appointees of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, we could as well say, well, is this not a case of the Chief Justice of Nigeria being a judge in his own cause?
I think it's far worse than that. In the first instance, in a proper federation, there is no need for a National Judicial Council. Under the 1979 Constitution, we had no such thing. What we had were these various state judicial service commissions and the Federal Judicial Service Commission. And under that constitution, it was the state judicial service commissions that recommended judges and appointed judges. I mean, they recommended judges to the governor who would make the appointments, or the other way around. And the Federal Judicial Service Commission was responsible for appointment of judges to the Federal High Court and then the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. And they also had responsibility for the welfare and discipline. Now, but today, we have a situation whereby if you want to appoint, if the governor of Akwa Ibom wants to appoint, a judge in Akwa Ibom, he has to send the list to the NJC. The NJC now will now recommend to him for him to make the appointment. That is an anomaly in the federal system of government. But then if you now look at the composition as today of the NJC, of the 24 members, about 17 are nominated by the CJN. He is a member. He nominates 5 retired justices of Court of Appeal or Supreme Court. He nominates 5 chief judges of the Federation. He nominates the Grand Cadi. He nominates 2 people.
President of the Court of Appeal.
Yes,
President of
Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal. He nominates two people
he nominates,
who are not lawyers.
Actually everybody.
Now, so what you have an emperor. And I don't think the framers of the Constitution envisaged a situation whereby these nominees or these members of the Judicial Service Council themselves will be subject of petitions or be subject of discipline.
No, hold on. Justice Kayode,
yes.
He warned, and he said this power must be removed from his Chief Justice of Nigeria years ago.
Yes.
He warned that it's dangerous.
It's quite dangerous.
And what if the Chief Justice of Nigeria is the one to be investigated?
To investigate.
As we
have today.
OYS, remember, was so sure that we were going to have a very, very revered body that he even suggested in that amendment that the NJC should recommend the next chairman of finance.
What is happening now? I mean, I think we can have a rethink of this whole idea. But even your party at some point also supported the idea that the NJC should appoint who becomes the chairman of INEC.
The NJC as a body, like you said, we looked at the NJC as an impartial body. But you see, the composition of the NJC is what we're quarreling with.
NJC, that's the National Judicial Council, did not only suspend the president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Salami. The council also sent a recommendation to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, asking him to retire the President of the Court of Appeal. Of course, we understand the way the process works. The President, as we've been told, hasn't got any power at all. As a matter of fact, the Constitution makes it very clear the President hasn't got the power to remove, but the President can transmit that recommendation to the National Assembly that has the responsibility, the Senate now, that has the responsibility of removing the President of the Court of Appeal by a 2/3 majority decision. But imagine this situation. The President himself has his case before Justice Ayo Salami's court. That's the case of the presidential election petition. That's the case of the CPC now challenging the election of President Goodluck Jonathan. And now the NJC is asking the President of the country to remove, that's what it seems like, to remove the man who is actually sitting in judgment over his case. So what does this portend? What implication does this have? I spoke to Senator, actually Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Professor Isha Sagi, about this. This is what he had to say.
Given the fact that the case had been filed before this illegal decision was taken, the decision is illegal. It is illegal. And legally does not affect Justice Salami, because NJC is not a court that you are bound to obey by law. So it is illegal. That is clear. But I must say the President is placed in a difficult position. But it is his duty now, when he receives the recommendation, to find out why. Why are you recommending that I should seek the removal?
Will the President be bound by that?
It's not bound at all. It's not bound, just recommend. It's not bound. And if I were in his shoes, if he has a good legal advisor, what I would say is, I will hold on to your recommendation until the outcome of the case which has been filed by Justice Salami. That is the only way we can proceed lawfully. If